Daniel Ramsey here. We're live on Facebook. Awesome. I'm really excited because we have Corey Prado here with salesdialer.com. And today we're really going over a lot of really good information about prospecting. We've got 5 power prospecting hacks to help fill your your pipeline, really. And so today I'm going to drop a ton of value. Please hang in there. Not only are we going to give away our personal practice, and we do anywhere from 50 to 75 new clients every single month and have over 30 people in our sales and marketing team. So we're a mega team if you're a business owner, and we're going to give away everything that we do. So all the processes that we've put together to win in the prospecting game. So Corey, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here, Dan.
I'm excited. And so if you're listening right now, we're going to just dive right in. I'm super excited. You see the space thing, right? Isn't this cool? We've got new backgrounds, and we're going to be toying with those as we go through this. So I am now walking on the moon, guys. Watch out. Okay, so hack number 1, as we said in the advertisement, is taking back the cold call. Now, I got lucky, and I've got this written down here, and you can't read it, but I'm going to go through it. I was just in Colorado Springs, and a good friend of mine has this team, and they're going to start prospecting, and his number 1 concern was like, how am I going to get somebody on the phone? Like, how am I going to get them on the phone talking to me about their time frame and motivation? Okay, so if you're in sales, this is the most important thing in closing a deal, is knowing somebody's time frame and their motivation. And so most important thing that you can do there is go through all of the reasons somebody would want to buy or sell with you. And so we came up with the 9 Ds. So check it out. Okay, the 9 Ds of why somebody wants to buy or sell a home, right? So you've got death, you've got divorce, you've got debt, so they're in foreclosure, or maybe their payments are too big, damage in the house or in the neighborhood. We're really close to the fires in Napa area, and there's a lot of damage in some of those neighborhoods. Thousands of homes were lost to that. So if you're prospecting in that area, you got to know that you're going to be talking to somebody who probably has damage in their neighborhood or their home, right? And that could be a motivation for them to want to either sell or buy. I mean, there's people who want to buy in those areas. So anyways, disability, that's another thing. Something shifts and the house isn't the right size, or the doors aren't big enough. My father-in-law recently got hurt, and he had to ride around in a wheelchair for a couple of weeks. Well, the doors in his house weren't wide enough. And that's a real issue for a lot of families. And so that's a reason somebody would want to buy or sell a house. Wildly enough, drugs, right? You think of like a bad neighborhood or a good neighborhood, or like it just recently got cleaned up and the police kicked all the bums out of the area, or all the drug dealers out of an area. These are all reasons that people want to buy or sell a home. Displacement, like let's say they can't live in this particular area because something's going on and they need to be closer to something else, or it's too far of a commute, or whatever. Double debt. I've got a listing right now where the seller has bought a brand new house and has a house, their old house, and they wanted it gone, right? And so they have a double debt issue. And the reason I'm going through this list, guys, it's very simple. You have to know the motivation of the person on the other phone. That's the hack. Is you've got to take back the cold call and really understand why somebody would want your information, why they'd want to be on the phone with you, and why they'd want to even listen to what you have to offer. And so somebody who's desperate to buy or sell, that's another example. The listing that we have right now, the seller just can't afford 2 mortgages. So they're not going to try to get top dollar. They're going to try to get what they think is a reasonable dollar so they can get it sold fast. And on that one, we offered a $1,000 bonus to the buyer's agent. So the point is, know why they want to leave, know their motivation, and be ready to talk through what their major concerns are going to be within that motivation. And guys, we've got a ton of time for questions or thoughts, or just tell us where you are. It was snowing in Tahoe, so we're near Tahoe. I'm getting excited about the weekend. I'm gonna go out and check out some powder snow. Corey was saying he only has ice where he's from. So, but we have tons of time for conversation or questions. And so, yeah, the first thing is just know the 9Ds, know what their motivation is. And the next thing is just know their time frame, know what it is they want to accomplish. And people are like, how do I get somebody on the phone? And what do I, and this friend of ours, it's really actually kind of cool, the aha that went off on his head, because we came up with all the different reasons somebody would want to sell their homes, and then we put it into a metrics, and then we put responses to the right of them. You know, if somebody dies, it's insensitive to say, well, do you need to sell your home? You say, oh, I'm so sorry for that. That's a big loss in a family. How are you guys holding up? Is there anything, you know, people, when you connect with somebody, they're going to trust you. And so this is a really important part, you know, versus a divorce. You know, people are like, look, I need to sell, but I'm uncertain of the time frame. Well, that's important, like to dive in there, you know, like, have you guys gotten attorneys? Are you working this out? You know, are there kids involved? What about school? You know, it's important to go down a particular path with the different types of motivation for selling. So that's hack number one. And with my friend Paul, we put together a metrics with all the different responses so that he could train his virtual assistant to have conversations that are sensitive and also you know, engaging with potential sellers or buyers. Okay, so that's hack number one, which I love. And I'm looking down because I got these notes, which are great. Anticipate objections and practice turnarounds. Okay, so here's the biggest issue. Everybody's afraid of having somebody slam on the phone, right? I mean, when you prospect, the number one concern is, I don't want to call somebody and then have them scream at me or yell at me or like be angry or any of that. And so it's really important. There's two things with this. It's really important that you don't take it personal and you have an objection counter to when somebody says, oh, no, thank you, I don't need any help. Well, needing any help is a lot different than getting help, right? And so that's a really important thing. Here, we've got a question from Mike. I love questions. Thanks, Mike. What's your script talking to somebody who's getting into, oh, well, this is great. Mike, I want to be clear. I don't like scripts. I like frameworks and metrics. And I think it's really important that you don't script things and you're not reading. Like one of the things Corey and I, we didn't like script out exactly what we're going to say today, because that would not sound awesome. Your question would have no place in this video if I had scripted everything that I did. Now, divorce is a tough situation. Somebody in our family is going through one right now. I choose empathy, and I choose to trust or build trust when I'm talking to somebody. And the fastest way to build trust is to put their goals ahead of my goals. It's no surprise. I'm a real estate broker, 14 years in. I want to get your listing. That's why I'm calling. There's no aha there for anybody on the phone. Like, they know why I'm calling, right? But what you do, and what's the most important thing, is you just say, hey, what are your goals? If everything could work out perfectly or ideally, what would have to happen for that to be the case? And you notice how my voice, so intonation is a big deal. You know, hey, I'm so sorry for your loss. This is probably hard on your family. That's the empathy part. I'm not jacked up in a divorce, because a divorce is typically a hard thing. Your heart is hurting. Versus like, look, I got a new job. If somebody said, look, displacement, they got to move because they got a new job, I'm like, woohoo! Yeah, we got a new job. Let's go. Where are you going to be, man? And I get excited. So on the divorce side, you know, it's really important. You slow down. You put their needs ahead of yours. You have empathy, and you ask them, hey, what would need to happen for this to all work out with your home? 9 times out of 10, they're not sure. Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the deal is like immediate, but most of the time, you're going to have to kind of work with them over time and earn their trust and be a part of their world while they're going through this transition. And other times it's like, I sold a house in this place called Fair Oaks, which is outside of Sacramento, maybe like 7, 8 years ago. And they recently reached out and said, hey, we're getting a divorce. And I was like, wow, whoa, are you kidding me? Like, cause I'd sold them their house and they seemed like they were happy. They had kids. So, sometimes your response needs to be like, whoa, what happened? I can't believe, and so the reality is people can feel when you care about them. That's a long explanation. But great question, Mike. Thanks for asking. And if you want more help or more information around, our 9 Ds, reach out to us. We'll go through this with you. Motivation is the number one thing to figure out, and then time frame is second when you're prospecting. So those are the 2 things. And we're on. Did you want to say something, Corey? I'm sorry.
No. I was clearing my throat. And I'm taking notes actually about the things you're saying. So
Watch out. Okay, so he's got notes. Corey's got notes, guys. We're gonna get those typed up and we'll include them in our download at the end. We're gonna give you guys if you go to myoutdesk.com/sales dialer, we're gonna give you guys not only a copy of this webinar, but also some really cool stuff. Ivan's got a question. Talking about empathy, what would you say is the best exercise to empathize? Ooh, I like exercise to empathize. That guy knows how to speak and write. I like it. Look, empathize is just be a human. I mean, the reality is we get hyper focused. I do it sometimes with my wife and kids. I do it sometimes with folks that I work with. If you can just hear in the voice and follow instincts, I think as animals, one of the worst things is that we're the only animal that doesn't listen to their gut instincts. There's so many intonations and conversations that are having just through voice, right? And so the exercise that I would do is really pay attention to your internal gut, really pay attention to how you're feeling in the moment and follow it. If somebody immediately is going up in emotions, go up with them. If they're angry, go be angry. If they're happy, be happy. It's mirror and match is another example of a great salesperson's ability. And these are things that you can teach your virtual assistant. That's what I want to tell you guys. These are definitely transferable sales. I'll give you an example. So on our private Facebook group, I think yesterday I just mentioned I love our mod sales team, and I took a screenshot because I did a webinar with the largest mortgage company on the planet. I'm blown away by it, and I'm not telling you guys to brag. I'm telling you guys how transparent we are with our people. So the guy was like, well, are your people good with English, and am I going to be able to understand them? And, what's the concern? And I was like, all right, dude, let's just cut to the chase, because you have an objection and I want to make sure your concern is heard. So I actually Skyped, or inside Skype, said, hey guys, I need your help. Come on this webinar with me. And so I had 2 of our salespeople just join a webinar with perhaps one of the most powerful people in the real estate world. And I just gave him transparency right into what we were doing. And so that is empathy, because I heard what he was concerned about and I responded with the exact thing that, he wanted at that moment. And so that's empathy. That's figuring it out. Okay, Rich, missed one on the first D's of the 9. Oh, okay, Rich, let's see. We're going to go through them real quick. Death, divorce, debt, damage in the house or the neighborhood, disabled, drugs, displacement, double debt, or desperate to sell. So that's what I would say. Okay. Immediate solution. Yeah. So Tania says immediate solution. That's the point of empathy, right? Is listening. Another issue that folks have is they just don't freaking listen with their active ears. You know what I'm talking about, Corey, right? You're talking to somebody and they're pounding their agenda, and that freaking drives me crazy because they're not listening to what my concerns are. And that is I would call it a secret sales weapon, is to listen. Like, listen, people, we gotta listen. That's a hack. I mean, that's a ninja hack right there. I love it. So listen to people, and then listen to what their concern is. That's an objection. Everybody calls an objection something. I don't even like objection. I like opportunity, because when somebody tells you what's wrong, that means you're really connecting with them, and you really understand what their need is. And they're telling you, look, Daniel, I love you, but I need help because I have a double mortgage right now. And I could say, okay, I'll get your home sold fast. Or I can say, tell me about your double mortgage. I just bought a new home. You did? Congratulations. That's so awesome. Are you guys 100% in? How's your home? How's your old home? Who's there? Is there anybody living? Have you remodeled it? And what's your biggest concern? Your concern is your mortgage is over $5,000 a month, and that's hard for you to handle. That's a concern. So what's more important to you, the most money or a fast sale? Fast sale. Objections are opportunities, and people get concerned, like, I'm not sure what to say. Here's another little hack. When I don't know what to say, I just ask more questions. And you guys can teach a virtual assistant this. You can actually be a part of the conversation with them, because you never look dumb asking questions, and everybody's worried about my ego. I'm not sure what I'm going to say. What if I don't know the answer? Don't think that way. Think, if I don't understand the question, or if I don't have an answer, ask more questions and listen more. So that's hack number 2 around objections. Okay, so hack number 3, and dude, Corey, if you want to ask or interject, man, come on, get in here. Hack number 3, approach the appointment setting and the lead nurturing emails differently. Okay, so this is really important. And I want to tell you guys, 87% of all buyers and sellers raise their hand but aren't ready to go right now. So this is an important stat, 87%. That means in every one given month, most of the people who raise their hand and say, I want to sell or I want to buy, actually don't do a transaction in that time frame. So that means most of your opportunity is going to be nurtured over time. And it's going to be a process of trust building over time. This is a really important deal. Yet there are also times, and I was just on a call with one of our salespeople, and the guy was like, hey, I'm ready to sign up. And I'm like, great, let's get you signed up right now, right? And the reality is, sometimes you need to set the appointment, and sometimes you need to nurture the person, right? And knowing the difference is a subtle thing. And nobody really knows the difference unless they ask. So Corey, are you ready to make an appointment right now and get your whole home sold? Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
A couple of the D's there.
Well, and the point is, yeah, you've got a couple of those D's going around.
I don't.
All right, well, good. But the point is, you never know. And another mistake that we make as salespeople is that we don't simply ask the question, like, hey, are you ready to move forward? If I came out to your house tomorrow and took a look at it and we walked through what our marketing is, would that be something that would be great for you? It'd be great for me. And just asking the question, right? Now, lead nurturing, here's a really important thing. Like I said, 87% of people are not ready to go yet. They're not ready to rock and roll right this minute, right? And so what's important about that is that means you're going to have to nurture them over time, and you need to understand what their motivations are. The 9D thing that we were just talking about. Well, I'm not ready to buy or sell yet, but my daughter is 4 years old and I need to get into this school district before she's 5. Now you have a time frame and you know a motivation. So now you need to nurture that lead based on all the information that you have from them. Okay, you're going to be 6 months. Well, how long, what's your house look like today? Is your house, is it going to need repairs? What kind of neighborhood do you want to move into? Have you been looking at the houses in that neighborhood? Are you certain exactly which school you're going to go to? So then you deliver information that's personalized to them about what they're trying to get. You can set them on a drip and pull a particular area with all the houses that have sold, all the houses that are pending, and every new house that comes on the market, right? And then you can send them information about that school district over time. But this step, people just simply don't have the time for. And I think that's why a virtual assistant can be really, really powerful for folks. I'm switching backgrounds, guys. Watch out, here it comes. It's gonna be very, very fun. This is a new toy that we just got. So this is right here. These are all of our folks, over 700 virtual assistants serving people just like you, right? And so if you don't have a system in place for lead nurturing around emails, around text messages, around phone calls, I would really suggest that you get one of our guys and help set that situation up. That is it's a massive hack, because again, 87% of your market, of the people who are raising their hand, aren't ready to go yet. So you've got to nurture those people. The other thing that I love is social media and leveraging. So this is hack number 4, and leveraging your community online. And when it comes to like referrals, when it comes to recommendations, when it comes to online reviews, all these things are really important. And I think it's important. Okay, so we have a listing, and it turns out that a guy that I'm really great friends with, I coach a wrestling team. And the head coach is actually a teacher, and this buyer's agent is a teacher, but a neighbor of my head coach. So she texts me up and says, "Hey Daniel, I happen to know Rick, your buddy, and you're a wrestling coach with him." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And all of a sudden, this agent on the other side, because there was a personal connection, honestly, we went ahead and accepted her buyer's offer. I mean, that's the reality of it. We had multiple offers and we accepted hers, even though hers wasn't the highest or the best or all of that, but there was a personal connection. And so I want to employ you guys. The hack number 4 is leverage your social media channels. Look, every time I get on a call, like when I got on a call with that mortgage person, the largest mortgage company in the world, he had his whole team on the call. I used LinkedIn and Facebook to look up every single person that was on that call prior. I wanted to know what their name was. I wanted to know exactly what they did for the company. I wanted to know if what their position in the company was relative to the owner. So all of that information was all available to me on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So when you talk to somebody, find out what it is, what's in their social media, what their interests are, what videos are they watching on Facebook, what does their resume look like? Because the faster you can find a connection and the faster you can build trust with somebody, then the more likely they're going to do business with you. So that's a very important thing. So let's see, Tania. She's like our favorite person in the world. She keeps asking questions. I love it. Role playing for your ISAs. There's a couple things here. I believe every ISA has to have a role playing partner. I believe it's your job as the leader to provide them the opportunity to spend 20 or 30 minutes every single morning role playing before they get on the phone. Now, this morning I was listening on my phone. I had some rap music going. Welcome back to the hotel. And it was fun. I enjoyed having that music before getting ready for this thing because it gets my energy going. It gets me excited. So a couple hacks around your morning routines. One, I love reflection. I like to journal. I like to get music. I like to practice. If I'm going to be on sales calls, I want to practice with somebody real quick. Like, hey, what's in their brain? What's in my brain? And I want to use the social media kind of platforms to pull their information prior to the call. So I know, what they're up to. Let's see. Okay. We hold regular coaching sessions, role play through our training teams and our ISAs. We call it Fastlane. Yeah. So that's a great thing. We do a fast, we have a project fast lane. So we have a group call with a bunch of our ISAs, and it's pretty phenomenal. So you'll like that. Corey, what are you going to say?
Now, I was going to say, I always encourage people, it sounds a little bit like you're in high school again, to do role-playing, but anytime I talk to people about scripts, people don't put enough emphasis into scripts, and I encourage role-play. You insert your own vocabulary, it becomes off more seamless. It's kind of 101 to me. Yeah,
and what I like about role-playing too is okay, so here's another hack, and it's not on our list, but it's good. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, well, Daniel, what if there's some weird situation? What it was is I was helping an appraiser figure out how he could leverage virtual assistants to help his appraisal business. Because we help everyone. In fact, if you're on the call and you're like, oh, I got a friend who's having struggles hiring some people, we help title people, we help mortgage people. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? We're helping this appraiser, we have attorneys, insurance guys. I mean, it doesn't matter. We help. If you have a business and you're growing, that's what we do, is we help provide some of these people, I don't even know, to help grow your business. That's the whole point of what we do. But this guy, his name's Mario. I hope he's listening, Mario, because he's got a phenomenal business, and he's made huge strides in the last 2 years to start putting leverage in place. And he said, and Corey, you'll appreciate this, because he said, well, what if there's a situation that is like weird, like there's a well, or there's a trailer on the property, or it's right next to a freeway, or it's behind a Macy's building or something, because he's the appraiser. He's putting, how is that going to work? And I said, you keep a Google Doc of all of the one-offs in your business. And I would suggest you take these 9 Ds and you just start, you add it to a Google Doc, and you put all of the things that people are concerned with, and you build out a metrics, right? So here are the 9 Ds. Here's the responses that are possible. Here's their objections that are possible. Here's probably their time frame, and here's their motivation. And you start building this metrics out of all of these different one-off situations, and then you use those inside of a role play or a scripting kind of practice, or even you do a lot of one-on-one coaching with your virtual assistant, so that they have an access to you via like cell phone, text them, or you can have a like a Skype or a Slack setup. A lot of our clients do Slack, so I think that is my favorite thing. So we have another one. No. Tania, we just offered the fast lane role playing thing last week, so it was on Facebook, and we're still doing it. So jump in there, because it's one of our best things. It's actually a place for our folks to learn who else is doing the ISA thing, and also knowing that not all lead sources are made equal, right? If you can get FSBOs and expireds, like Sales Dialer has a great list for that. And if you can get like neighborhood specific stuff, if you're doing open houses, and you can call on that. If you can get most probable to move, which is the 9D things, there's a lot of companies out there that provide that list too. So not all lists are created equal. And it's really important that as you progress in your prospecting, you get better and better at different types of channels, like listing channels. Just like listing channels, prospecting channels have different flavors and feels, but it's always about time and motivation. So that's good. All right, we're good with the social media. Now, hack number 5. This is one of my favorites: network to build strategic partnerships. Now, what that means, networking. One of my favorite networks is today business owners. And I want to help you guys with building your own networks, mostly because inside of a real estate sales thing, the largest challenge is driving listing opportunities, right? Listings opportunities are what takes you from, a couple $100,000 a year to over $1 million. Because when you can figure out how to generate as many listings as you can handle, everything changes. We've got a question here, and I'll go back to this hack of how to build a network and what to do. But Rich, thanks for your question, Rich. Best time of day to cold call. Now, here's that answer is tough because, like I was saying, there are different types of cold calling, right? And so there are different time frames that you want to cold call. But I'm going to answer this on multi-layers so that you guys get a lot of value. The biggest indicator to success in a cold call situation is what we call speed to lead. And so if somebody raises their hand and says, I'm interested in buying, or I need help selling, or does a home valuation request, or contacts an attorney and says, hey, somebody passed away and I'm the executor of this will. Like, speed to responding to that lead is the biggest indicator of a conversion. So if they're right there on your website looking at homes because they want to move to another neighborhood, it's probably likely that they've got to sell a home in order to get into that new neighborhood. And so if they're on and they register, the faster you get to them, the better. So that's a generic answer. And I want to be clear, it's very important that the speed to lead is measured here, because we've got a bonus hack in here. You got to track your numbers, but here's what people don't do, and this is going to be important. And Sales Dialer helps with this. When somebody, and Corey's got some specifics, dude. I love it. Okay, good. Corey, what's your specific?
Well, it's one of those things that you just alluded to, and I'm going to try to keep this short because the spotlight's on you right now, and I'm taking careful notes, and I want to take more notes. Here's the deal: when you're calling, it's good to probe and document, and you just have to think about it. If you're calling consumers, and yes, you want to get through to them quickly. A lot of times, people work during the day, but you want to get there first. So maybe you would place a call mid to late morning, but I also encourage you to call early evening, maybe 6 to 8:30. You have kids, you run errands, you come home, you get home late. And Saturday mornings is also a great time to call. But the important thing is to document and track it, and you will fine tune those hours to call, and you'll be amazed at what you discover when you document it.
Yeah, I like that too. What we've found is standard business hours are the best, and we've done literally hundreds of thousands a month, like insane. I mean, you guys see all these people, right? Half of that room are ISAs doing some sort of prospecting for our clients. What we've found is business hours win, right? There's a time between business hours means 8 to 5 typically. And business hours are the best time to get a conversion. And I only care about setting appointments. So what we tracked was what time frame did somebody say yes to an appointment. We didn't we didn't track connections. We didn't track calls made when they were made. But we tracked when a conversion happened. And for us, early morning and early afternoon and early evening are the best times. So not right at 8 a.m., but like 8:30 to 10:30, right? And then not right at 12 p.m., but like 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. And then not right at 5 o'clock, but like 4 o'clock to like 6 o'clock. Those are kind of what we would call the shoulder hours, when people are looking at property or thinking about what's next or transitioning out of work to go into the home, or from the home to work, or from lunch back to work. Those transition timeframes are so powerful. And that's why typically the best time of day is during those transitions, but a standard work day, 8 to 5. And I'm not just saying that, by the way. So we talked to that mortgage guy, and we're building, I'm crossing my finger, but we hope to be building out their call center so that they can enable more appointments for their lenders, right? And I gave him the same advice that I'd give you, is that if you're on the West Coast, have coverage 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., 7 p.m., try to get a whole 12 to 14 hours out of the day, and maybe stack people, maybe you're helping call in the morning, or you have 2 virtual assistants, or you have your agents helping to call, because really full coverage will enable that speed to lead, which is the biggest indicator of a conversion. So that's my answer. Thanks, Rich. That was a great question. Corey, anything to add? Any thoughts there?
No. You're doing a fantastic job. I learned a couple things. Thanks.
What'd you learn? What for the audience? Tell me.
Well, the important thing is documenting the times that you're calling. And frankly, I don't put enough emphasis on calling during the business hours. And what it makes me do is it makes me reevaluate things. You have to be open to trying new suggestions because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Right.
So, yep.
Well, and the reality is, your area, we've got a great client. His name's Eric, and he's in Southern California. And, he's a guy that does $1 million properties. Like, he's selling homes in the most expensive parts of California that are beachside, right? And he's got multiple teams in different areas, but he chose to move to this really awesome place. And all of a sudden, his whole prospecting world shifted because his normal houses are $300,000 or $400,000 houses, and all of a sudden he's trying to sell $20 million homes. And so he thought, hey, I'm just going to prospect with my virtual assistants. We're going to knock them out. We're going to get appointments, and we're going to go. Well, it didn't work the same way, and that's why we're on hack number 5. Because my suggestion to him is because we stepped in there and we started helping. Right? We started, okay, well, and this guy tracked his numbers, and he knew when he called and how long he talked to somebody and what the situation was. So he actually had the spreadsheet and the dialer data, just like Sales Dialer does. You can pull data on the back end and find out when you call and all that. That's one of my favorite things about what you guys got going on. So he came to us with all the data, and what we realized is that he has to prospect differently. He has to prospect, and this isn't going to apply to everybody, but it's important, so please listen. He has to prospect to a network of people. So his prospect is no longer the end user who owns a $20 million home, because those guys own the home but aren't there most of the time, or just come in for the summer because they're on the East Coast, or it's a vacation home for them, or they have their assistant answer the phone, or their attorney answer the phone, or their accountant answer the phone. So what we learned with him is that building a strategic network, and that's hack number 5, where he could create partnerships, was so important. So he went to the local hospital that had 5 to 10 people every quarter move out of or move into, because it was the community's hospital, right? And so every quarter they had 5 to 10 people either getting hired or getting transferred out. And so what we realized is that the HR person inside that hospital was his strategic partnership network opportunity. It was the number 1 employer in the neighborhood or in the area, and it was the number 1 cause of a move. So So then we found out, guess what? There was a CPA in town that had the majority of the business of these high net worth individuals. There was an estate attorney who also did that. So his prospecting shifted from end users to strategic networks. And he started doing a mastermind around all these different business owners who basically were interested in getting business, because every time a house sells or buys down there, there's close to $500,000 in transactions that happen in commission or services, right? And so he put together this strategic partnership, this network of folks, in order to take advantage of that $500,000 of services and commissions every time it turned. So all of a sudden, he's the go-to real estate guy to the attorney, to the CPA, to the HR person at the hospital, and he started adding more and more people of value. There was an insurance broker and other things. So your network, here's some hacks around that. Number 1, they need to be the best in town. So don't go to the insurance friend that is your buddy. Find the guy that all the high net worth people go to, or that has the biggest book of business, or that is on TV, or that's on radio, or that has a good marketing budget. Create a relationship with the best in each of the different categories. You have to have an appraiser. You have to have a mortgage person. You have to have an insurance person. You have to have an inspector. You've got all these. We control, as the real estate broker, we control so much value. On average, here's a stat for you guys, which is really cool. On average, there's $75,000 worth of money or services for a house when it transitions. And your job is to help your sellers have a smooth transition, meaning you've got a contractor who do all the work. You've got another person that's going to do this, and you got an insurance broker who can handle all this, and you got to rewrite your estate because you're moving your home. You're getting married and you might need help with because you just had a kid, or whatever the case is. You want to be the go-to person, and you want to have a network because those people are going to refer business. So hack number one is get the best in the town on the network. Number two, make sure they have a budget for advertising, because it doesn't do any good if the best in town isn't interested in being in your network or isn't interested in helping you advertise together or be a part of anything. So you got to have somebody who has a budget for networking and wants to be around people, right? And likes that stuff, because Corey, we all like that stuff, right? I mean, we like to have fun and meet new people. And then the third thing is always work with people who have a large network and lists, okay? So as a real estate broker, one of the things that I would do is I would want an appraiser who has a huge list. I look at how many friends they have. I look to see if they've ever been, featured on the radio or on the TV, or, I look to other business owners who are salespeople, who have a big network, who can be impactful for my clients. That's the hack in, building strategic partnerships. Any thoughts on that, Corey?
No, but I've taken some really good notes of things that I'm excited to incorporate into the little bit that I have, because it's the same groups here. We run in packs together, so I'm excited to share when we get there.
Well, so Steve asked if this is live, and I'm like, I think it is live. I'm pretty certain it's on live. So.
Somebody hold up a phone or newspaper.
Yeah, watch out, man. This is right now. This is going right now. I'm sure the picture is throwing them off. Okay, so we alluded to it, but we're almost done with all these hacks. And before I give you guys the last bonus thing, we've actually got a free gift, because I don't like doing this kind of conversations without giving stuff away. So we're going to give you some stuff away, but I want to real quick walk through how we help people grow their business, because I've given you guys a ton of ideas, but ideas are worthless. Like, ideas are worth nothing unless you can implement and put a process together. I fired a coach, and I love the guy, but ideas are well, they're just ideas. And what I need not only do I need the idea, but I need the process. I need an example of it. I need to see an Excel spreadsheet with how you would do it, maybe. Like, I want to see the written guides, and that's what I'm going to give away to you guys is we think the biggest, okay, so prospecting. I go all over the place. Prospecting. Here's the most important thing. One, that you implement some sort of prospecting into your business. Corey, wouldn't you agree? It's the lifeline. Like, what do you see in that? Why is that important?
Candidly speaking, having different pipelines to feed those prospects, it's an ongoing self-perpetuating cycle that feeds itself.
That's right. Well, and revenue is king, and prospecting is driving the revenue. And so it's one of the most important things you can do. So my hope for everybody on this is, if your prospecting game isn't tight, get it started. Hire somebody. If you don't like to do it, get somebody. We'll help with that. If you like to do it, amplify it, because it's the biggest dollar thing that you can do as a business owner. It's the stuff that I was just on a call with a commercial mortgage guy, and he threw out $300 when his hourly rate, when he only focuses on client acquisition, is $300 an hour. And I think that's great. I think it's probably a lot more, and he doesn't realize it. But the reality is, prospecting, talking to your clients, interacting with your network, getting on social media and connecting, creating live videos and giving away value, like, that's the most important thing you can do as a business owner. So do that, right? And then you've got two things behind that. two things that really kind of make the difference. Number one is lead quality. Okay, where am I getting the leads from? How likely are they to buy and sell? That is, and you got to tweak that over time, because there are going to be, like, I personally think FSBOs and expireds are one of the highest quality leads. I know we all know that referrals, 70% of the real estate market is driven by referrals. So that's a massive place. But, somebody registering to find out what their home is worth because they might want to sell, that's a really important lead too. And so you want to find out what your special jam is in terms of lead quality. Like, what are you really good at closing right here and right now, and then implement that into your business. I've got a friend who's a little south of Sacramento, and we're talking about it, and he's like, I don't want to do business in that area. I'm like, why? He goes, well, I just don't really like those kind of people. Like, I'm a kind of salt of the earth. He does Ironmans, and he's got a nice team, and most of his business is done by referral. But I just point blank said, do you not like commission? And it all of a sudden shifted. And I'm like, dude, there's 30 or 40 sales in that neighborhood for you every month. You don't have to be buddies with them, and you don't have to, but that is a good opportunity for you. And so my point in that is, like, find out where your opportunities are, where the highest commission dollar rates are, or the most likely that they're going to do business from you, and track those lead sources and really know. And then the last piece is just tracking your numbers. When to call, when they convert, what they look like, and whether or not you're having success. So those are the three things that's really important. And the hack, or the bonus thing that we're going to give away, is we're giving you our tracking sheet. So if you go to MyOutDesk /sales dialer, we're giving away the tracking number sheet that we use for our folks. So what we do, Corey, is we'll pull the dialer report from you guys. Okay, we'll pull the CRM report from our internal CRM, and then we mash those two up with success. And then then we can look at activity, like how many calls they're making, how many conversations they're having, how many conversions they're doing, and then how many closings, right? Because a conversion, is just getting an appointment, but getting a listing is actual, money activity. And then once the listing is got, having that listing convert to commission is important. So I track all of those things, and we're giving that away if you go to the website and download it. Now, what's really cool too is here, you see this is our mod family, our MyOutDesk family. You see my daughter and wife are here, and we were just in Tahoe together late last year. And so what we're doing here is we've got a team in place to help support your growth. We've got coaching, and we're going to go through a process called the seven-figure agent map, where we'll take what you're trying to accomplish within your business, and we'll see if we can strategically help you with creating some outcomes, right? So one outcome might be grow the business through prospecting and do a new lead source with Sales Dialer, right? And what we'd like to do is see one new listing a month, or 2 new listings a month, or whatever the number is, right? So that's an example of an outcome that we work with you on through the seven-figure agent map. And we've got folks, like literally over 1,000 folks who are here to help you grow and support your business. And so that's kind of what when you go and you jump on that, not only we're giving away the free, tracking spreadsheet that I think is super important, but we're also going to give you a consultation where we'll walk you through how to implement some of these crazy things that I'm explaining. And this could be like a fire hose, right? I mean, Gary was taking notes, but we can work through all of your concerns around how to make this work for your business and for your company. What do you think, Corey?
I think you've given a lot of exciting information and tools for them to use, of which I'm going to overwhelm them even more and mention a few things when it's my turn to speak. Because we cater to the customer, and we're listening to what they need, and we're delivering. So Yeah, that's. I'm going to share what I think whenever I can't keep up with your backgrounds.
Yeah, our backgrounds keep changing. Isn't that a cool? That's a cool feature, huh?
Awesome.
My wife is, well, here, I'm going to keep changing. Like, check this out. So when you work with us, this is a orphanage in the Philippines. So one of the other things is that if you work with us, we're a purpose-based business. So we have something called the MOD movement, where we go in and make impact, create hope and opportunity in the community. So, I mean, we've just got some really cool things going on. And I would just encourage you guys, if you have a need and you want to grow, give us a call. We want to help. And here's what's cool about Sales Dialer. You guys just launched a bunch of brand new features that I think actually enable business owners to even do a better job with prospecting. So let's go through them real quickly, and then I'll try to explain why these are important to everybody. But let's talk about some of the cool things you got going on.
All right. Well, in relation directly to your hack number one is take back the cold call. We just released a feature that is guaranteed it's going to give people more pickups, and it's called local presence. And we don't charge for this feature. It's included with all of our dialer options, our power dialer options. So here's what it does. It's really neat. Once you turn this feature on, it will automatically choose a local area code and caller ID that matches the number you're calling to give you a local presence.
Right.
And if you have that local presence, I mean, you're just going to get more pickups. People think it's somebody they know, and they're not going to pick up on toll-free numbers or maybe area codes they don't represent. So local presence is huge. We released it about 2 weeks ago, and it's doing very, very well. So
and the feedback that you're getting from clients is really positive, I'm guessing, on that, right?
They're just getting more pickups, and as used for it, pickups are opportunities, and right. That's what we're going to give you. Yeah.
Well,
that's
another challenge with prospecting nowadays is, if you don't recognize the number, they just send it to voicemail. That tendency like quadruples when it's out of area code. Like I'm in the 916, dude, and if it's like 313, I'm like, I don't know where the heck that is. That's probably not for me, So that's really cool.
Yeah, what we've also done is, and we've got a whole slew of features that we are hit the ground running with this year. Local presence is the big one that we've just released. We also have, of course, we have call transfer and three-way calls. A lot of people like to do call transfers. They've got those VAs. They're transferring those hot lead appointments to generate those. One thing I want to point out, though, about specifically what we do is a lot of companies, if they have more customers, they just add more servers. We actually take it a step further. Our business is really growing in certain parts of the country. For example, the Philippines. Yeah. We just don't buy servers. We buy servers in the Philippines, and we host it locally, so you don't have any of those call latency or call quality problems. We can do that. We own our company. Wherever there's a need, we actually go there. We don't host it here.
Yeah, so, I saw that in the notes. You guys, so to help support our business and our clients, you guys actually have servers in the Philippines now.
Yes, and I'm scheduling a scuba trip to go to the Philippines to make sure the servers are working very well. And I'll stop by and see y'all.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. Okay, and the local presence is a big deal. What else you guys got that's new?
Cell phones are huge with realtors. We get constant need for cell phones. We've added text messaging into our interface. So you can do text messages while you're on the phone with them. You can do text message blasts. We're actually, in about a week, we're initiating drip text messages like you would do a drip email campaign. So we're automating it. So we're excited about that.
Well, okay, so here's another, and we didn't really talk too much about it, and I don't think we did at all, actually, but I liked combining phone calls through the dialer, text messages, emails, and social media. If I can't get somebody, and you're going to get somebody in one of those four ways. Like that is just purely the truth. So it's awesome you guys are doing drip. One thing that's cool about SMS too is no one ever, like I have 0 unread text messages, but I got a bunch of unread emails, right? And I send people to voicemails all the time. So it's another really good opportunity to connect with people. And you guys I do have a big jug of water. I'm constantly talking, and I'm so thirsty throughout the day. Yeah, good. Okay, what else?
All right. I've got a slew. I was drinking. My bottle is not as big as Daniel's bottle. I have you can't see it, a smaller bottle. But
Yeah.
anyway, so listen, I've got a couple of things here. We're actually, and coming up throughout the year, we're going to be doing call whisper mode, where you can whisper and shadow and train and nurture somebody that's making phone calls for you. We're going to have incoming text messages. We are enhancing our mobile application to work on Droid. Most people have iPhones. We did iPhones. But you're actually going to be able to use our software entirely from the phone. You're not going to have access to a tablet or a laptop, everything from the phone. So we're taking things mobile because guess what? Realtors work out of their cars.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
In fact, I do some of my best work driving from one place to another. I'll have some of my best phone calls. In fact, today I have 2 scheduled for the car, maybe 3. Okay, but I want to talk about the whisper and the break-in, because I personally use this with our team all the time. I like to listen in on sales calls and give people feedback. In fact, I like to do them with our sales team and then encourage them to be more, well, I mean, it just depends, but I was on a call earlier today and I definitely said, let's close this. This guy's ready to move. And sometimes just having a second opinion on the phone and being able to break in and whisper to somebody is huge, and being able to listen to give people coaching. So here's a big deal, man. If you're going to use Sales Dialer and you don't use these features, you're missing out. But you got to slow down and take the 30 minutes it takes to learn how to use those features so that you can break in and whisper and give training to your folks. And I'm not saying you got to do it, like spend 12 hours doing it a week. I'm thinking like 20, 30 minutes every 2 or 3 days. And what you're doing is you're giving them active coaching. And all of us need a coach. All of us need a coach. All of us need a mentor. Everybody needs a buddy at work. Everybody wants to win and provide value. And so anything you can do to help people do that, I think is brilliant. And so it's awesome that you guys are implementing those services because they're needed.
Well, and candidly speaking, some people might view it just like what you said. They say, well, I'm spending too much time with this person. Well, what you're saying is you don't want to reinvest in yourself. The more knowledge you give them, it's not like 6 degrees. What is it? 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, where you have to. Okay. No, this is directly comes back to you. It doesn't go to Kevin Bacon, and it comes back to you. The effort you put into your VA or whoever you're working with, you benefit directly from that. It's kind of a no-brainer, actually.
Well, we actually call this compound leverage. And this is an important point for everybody on this call, because there's a couple mindsets that I want to attack. The first mindset, and I only attack them because I can look back and they were my old self. Like, this is me 10 years ago, right? But, I can do it better, or they're not going to do it the way I want to, or, I can close every single deal and they don't really know how, or maybe they can, but I certainly can. Like, all of those mindsets will stop you from being able to succeed. And what you're talking about is absolutely on point. Once you've trained somebody and they are 100% doing it, I think Tristan Ahumada from Lab Coat Agents, like, this guy doesn't have to worry about prospecting ever again because he's got our virtual professionals and they're prospecting for him all the time. His worry is just getting enough listing leads into his business. So he's effectively gotten compound leverage, just like compound interest. And he's given away that part of the job, and now he's free to grow the business. And that is the mindset that you have to have, is like, what can I give away so that I can focus on growing the business? Because grow the business is what the business owner's job is. Book after book after book talks about that. Okay, so we are 30 seconds away from 60 minutes. Corey, what do you want to end with? What do we got to do?
Wow. Geez, the Cliff Notes abridged version. Okay. Candidly speaking, I would say, listen, don't hesitate. Don't wait. It's the new year. Okay. Don't push this back till March. Don't wait till the summertime. You need to get started now. Okay. The holidays are over. It's time to hit the ground running. Utilize the resources, but knowledge, really, and get back to basics, this grassroots mentality. Use the resources MyOutDesk offers. Call us up. We'll talk to you about what we offer. Don't make that a resolution. Make that a daily activity. Resolutions fade away. That's all I would ask or end with. Yeah.
Well, and that's a good point too. So because we're in like a partnership agreement with these guys at Sales Dialer, we know that this is the biggest part of really scaling a business up is we have the people, they have the technology, and together it's like this beautiful thing. So, you know, they do the for sales by owners, they do expireds, they can do a neighborhood circle call, like all the tools that our people need to be successful in prospecting, they have. And so they provide leads, they provide opportunity is what they really do. And so if you go to myoutdesk.com/sales dialers, we're going to give you not only the tracking stuff, but you can register for an appointment. You can talk to Corey. You can talk to our company. You can really find out where the holes are in your business to scale it up. We are done. I wish I had a mic because we'd drop it. Thanks again. This has been fun. This is one of my favorite topics. So, and I could talk for days about this. So everybody who's listening, thanks a lot. Jump on the website. We'll make sure they're in the notes. Corey's going to type these up for us because he's got 14 pages of notes, right?
Yes.
And guys, grab your 7-figure agent roadmap today, get a consultation, and we will help you grow. Sales Dialer, you guys are awesome. Thanks, Corey, for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.